Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. Inspector injured in Linstead shooting. A police inspector was injured during a shooting incident on 4th Street in Linstead, St. Catherine yesterday afternoon. Head of the St. Catherine Police Division, Superintendent of Police Howard Chambers, said the inspector was attacked by alleged gunmen. The shooting reportedly took place during a police operation. Chambers said the operation is still ongoing. 25-year-old wanted in connection to police shooting. The St. Catherine North Police have identified a suspect in connection with the shooting of a police inspector in Linstead, St. Catherine on Monday. The police inspector has been identified as Damon Butler. The suspect, 25-year-old Rondon Gallimore, otherwise called Nibs of Wakefield in Linstead, has now been listed as wanted. He is being urged to immediately turn himself in to the Spanish Town Police. Reports are that the inspector accosted a man who arouses his suspicion, and during the confrontation, the man pulled a firearm and fired, hitting the policeman. The cop has been admitted to hospital in stable condition. Anyone with information that can assist the police in locating Gallimore is being asked to contact the Spanish Town Police at 876-984-2305, Crime Stop at 311 or the Police 119 number. Entertainer Silk Boss named as person of interest. The St. Catherine South Police have named dancehall entertainer Rowan Silk Boss Reed as a person of interest. Reed is being asked to report to the Portmore Criminal Investigations Branch by midday on Monday. In the meantime, anyone knowing Reed's whereabouts is being asked to contact the Portmore Police at 876-989-8422, Police 119 emergency number or the nearest police station. The artist was recently seen in a viral video being beaten by the men. Reed was left with what appeared to be bloody lip and bruises on his face. The St. Catherine Police last week issued an appeal for him to make contact with investigators as they sought to probe a case of assault. Father and son hit off motorcycle in Clarendon killed. Several residents of the Salt River community in Clarendon are calling for justice following the death of two men in a crash along the Salt River Main Road Monday morning. The deceased men have been identified as 50-year-old Raintoller Edwards Sr. and his son 30-year-old Rain Trippeth Edwards Jr. Residents claim the accident could have been avoided if reports of the alleged reckless driving of a company vehicle by an employee was taken seriously. Sasha Gate Cook Stewart, a relative of Edwards Jr., said he was transporting his father to work when a company vehicle hit them from his motorcycle. They both died on the scene. Norda Simit, Edward's senior spouse, said she got a call that they were hit from their bike by a speeding vehicle. She fought back the tears as she explained that they were the breadwinners for their families. "We want justice for them," she sobbed. A neighbor, who identified herself as Antoinette, said she too received a call that there was a bike accident and the Tutu and Trimmy dead. "I feel hurt about this because we have been making complaints to the company about the drivers that they have and nothing was done until this happened this morning," she said, adding that the men were two hard-working people. The younger Edwards, she said, operates a business at the Salt River Mineral in addition to his regular job at Jamalco. Both men, she said, were employed by the company. Body of 15-year-old Fogar Road High School student found in Summerfield River. The body of 15-year-old Fogar Road High School student Tavon Patterson was found in a river in Drax Savage, Summerfield in Clarendon. Patterson, who lived in Thompson Town, was last seen by his uncle at about 6 a.m. on Thursday, September 1, the day he went missing. In an earlier interview with his mother, Sharika Simit, she told reporters that her niece in Chopton informed her that Patterson texted her that he was going to Summerfield and would visit her on his way back. Her first clue to something being wrong was a strange phone call she received about 1 p.m. on the day he went missing. She noted that the caller used number as private, asked 3 questions before abruptly ending the call. "You know Jahim, her son's nickname? Are you related to Jahim? You know him at?" Counsel for the Chapton Division, Herschel Brown, who lives close to where the body was discovered, described it as a very sad situation. The body seemed to have been bloated and appeared to have been there for a while. "It's extremely sad and frustrating. I'm hoping that it's not a homicide. At this point, we haven't been told if it is, so we are still waiting, he quipped. Efforts to get an update from the Clarendon police have proven unsuccessful. Brothers freed of killing uncle. 2 brothers who were charged with the murder of their uncle have been freed in the Trelawney Parish Court after the parish judge upheld submissions by attorney-at-law Ableton Foote that there was no intention to kill their relative, Clive Clark. Foote submitted that one of the brothers struck Clark in defense of his brother who was being attacked by him. The brothers, Shamaria Green and Mikhail Hyman, both of Tara District in Trelawney, had accused their uncle on February 20 this year of stealing chickens from their chicken farm. A report was made to the police, but Clark left the area before the police came. Later that same day, the uncle returned to the premises. An argument ensued between him and Green. During the argument, Clark reportedly brandished a machete and was in the process of attacking Green when Hyman used a piece of board to hit him in the back of the head. Clark fell to the ground and was subsequently taken to hospital, where he was pronounced dead. The brothers were charged with murder. A committal hearing was held last month to establish if a prima facie case was made out of the brothers to stand trial. The prosecution relied on the caution statements given by the accused brothers were outlined the circumstances that led to the death of their uncle. Foote, who represented the brothers, submitted that the prosecution did not make out a prima facie case against the 2 accused. Foote argued that it was clear that Hyman had no intention to kill his uncle and only struck him in defense of his brother. The judge upheld the submissions, and the men were freed last week Friday. CSEC reports overall decline in student performance in CSEC exams. The Caribbean Examination Council CSEC reports an overall decrease in the performance of candidates for this year's Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate CSEC examinations compared to last year. Speaking at the official release of the examination results on September 5th, Director of Operations for CXC, Nicole Manning, said there were decreases in chemistry, mathematics, physics, geography, social studies, French, and human and social biology. Meanwhile, she said there were improvement performances for principles of accounts, principles of business, English B, and biology.
For CSEC, of course, acceptable grades 1 to 3. I will start with English A. English A, where we saw stability at grades 1 at 19% and a reduction for grades 2 and 3 at overall performance. Chemistry, we saw an overall reduction to 59%. And while, of course, we saw an increase at grades 3, we saw a reduction at grades 1 and 2. For mathematics, we saw a reduction for the grades 1 and 2, but for stability at grade 3. Overall, we saw a reduction for the performance to 37%. For English B, we saw an increase for grades 1 also and grades 2, and a reduction for grade 3, but an overall increase from 63% last year to 72%. For biology, we saw a 26% increase in grades 1 and 2, 26% performance for grades 1 and 2, and an overall performance 78% for our candidates across the region. Principle of accounts, we saw an increase 69%, not only overall, but for grades 1 and 2, and stability at grade 3.
Police say no major obstruction on the nation roads amid the start of the new academic year. The Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch is reporting that there was no major obstruction on the nation's roadway amid the start of the new academic year on September 5th. There was concern that the start of the new school year would result in serious traffic congestion across the island. In anticipation of the congestion, the Jamaica Constabulary Force has pledged to deploy the necessary resources to ensure smooth operations on the roadways. In providing an update on the operations yesterday morning, Head of the PSDEB, Assistant Commissioner of Police Gary Mackenzie, said there was no major issue as his team was proactive.
The teams have been dominant overnight and into this morning because we bore in mind that we will have people leaving communities, going to the transportation hubs, and then going on to public transport as well as using private motor vehicles. So that real early dominance that was further bolstered by traffic operatives and other patrol personnel across the entire country, but certainly in the cities of St. James and the corporate area and other township police officers were out. So we saw that traffic flowed pretty well. We recognize that not all the schools were opened this morning, so we expect them to open at full throttle come next week, Monday. Some, of course, will open up on Wednesday and Thursday. But we are happy to say that there were no major obstructions. Of course, you will not have people just driving through at 80 kilometers per hour and so on, because there will be some amount of traffic, but there were no delays. Police officers, they took up their usual position at the causeway, the vicinity of the toll. We had police officers monitoring at Dyke Road, Caymanners. We had other police officers strategically placed by the St. Catherine South Police along Newlands Road, all those areas, Nagoed, Bayside, and so on.
Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell